For thousands of years, Europe has been in the grip of the late Ice Age. The adaptable Cro-Magnons, Homo sapiens sapiens, are spreading out across the world. Asia was joined to the Americas by a vast land bridge, Beringia. With bitterly cold winters and wild temperature swings, Beringia had one of the harshest climates ever known. Summers lasted no more than 2 months. This is the land of the megafauna, or great beasts. They roam far and wide in search of food. And wherever they go, the humans follow in their quest for nourishing meat. But 13,000 years ago, the climate of Beringia was changing. The animals were dwindling in number. The long, long winters drawing to an end. For days, these hunters have stalked this woolly mammoth. They tried to trap it in a bog, but the cornered beast has turned on them. Their stone-tipped spears can only penetrate the thick hide of a mammoth if the hunter strikes in a vulnerable spot. 16,000 pounds of angry Mammuthus primigenius. All 3 hunters may have lost this battle, but they've seriously wounded the mammoth. The women of this tiny settlement have been waiting for weeks for their men to return from the hunt. They've learned how to adapt to the cold. They've built a shelter from mammoth bones and hide. It's a monument to the place of the mammoth in their lives. They make warm layered clothing using a tiny new invention that has revolutionized their lives, the bone needle.
Nico.
This flower shouldn't be here so early in the year. It's a bad omen. The first of several. For generations, they've known the freezing ground with its top layer of permafrost is a natural refrigerator, but it's warmer than usual. What they can't know is that the Ice Age is coming to an end. The ground's already softened. The mammoth meat from their last hunt is rotting. Their planning was useless. Nature has betrayed them. Inik, Sila, and Una are beginning to realize their men aren't coming back. They wonder what will become of them. In a land with few edible plants, they need meat to survive. Will they become victims of the tundra's predators? Not if Vernique can help it. next day, sheer human ingenuity comes to their rescue. As the ice sheets retreat and the great mammals die out, they've taken to fishing. With ever more sophisticated weapons and tools, they can now successfully spear fish in shallow water. They use harpoons with light bone points, rather than the heavier stone tips used for hunting big game. But yet another bad omen. It looks like the mammoth hide from their hut. The fierce tundra winds have blown their roof too far away to find. Wolves have taken advantage of their absence. Their men are gone, their foods rotting. They've lost their home. Life on the tundra is lived on the edge. Another night alone. The skins they have won't be enough to keep them warm. They can't live on the frigid tundra without shelter. They'll all die of exposure. Sela know they must find another band if they're to survive. It wasn't unusual for stranded women to join another band where they might have relatives. They live in a vast, inhospitable landscape. One they know like the back of their hand. They're used to traveling long distances. They'll take the paths they've taken before. We know about the land they're crossing from studying deep sea cores and fossilized pollens. But we know little about how Beringians lived. What we do know comes from sites in Siberia and Alaska. They reach the home of their ancestors, but there's no sign of life. This hut used to be on high ground. As the climate's warmed, the glaciers have melted. Sea levels near the coast have been rising for years. Ernique grew up here and remembers what it looked like. Land as far as the eye could see. Una can't understand why her ancestors built their home in such a bad place. She has no idea that in a few short years, this will be the bottom of the sea. Soon the land bridge will sink under the rising ocean and the old world will be irreversibly divided from the new. With no one here, they're on their own. A mammoth's been this way. There are hunters ahead. This mammoth's been separated from its herd across the river, but no sign of the hunters. Ernique can see a spear in its side. Its wounds have slowed it down, a perfect opportunity for the women. They'd never heard of women hunting a mammoth, but if they're going to live, they have no choice. the women have watched mammoth hunts many times and think they know how to do it. The first strategy of the hunter is to isolate the beast. Step 1 is already achieved. Sela won't put her baby down. It's an invitation to predators. To succeed, they must cooperate. Step 2. Sela moves in to distract the mammoth. Like a wounded elephant, it could make one final charge. Bernique knows she must aim for the lungs or the stomach, where he's most vulnerable.
Mammoths played an important role in Beringian life. With the land bridge now underwater, our best evidence comes from Mezerik in the Ukraine. There, Ice Age hunters built dwellings with frameworks of mammoth bones and mammoth hide roofs. Archaeologists have found large storage pits full of animal bones in the same region. Here, people kept fresh meat refrigerated in the permafrost.
The delay, Mr. Slowski. I have that information.